10 drivers, 7 races, but there can only be one champion. Welcome to the BSR AMSOIL Truck Series playoffs, and welcome to the last Great Coliseum. The first 12 rounds have separated the best of the best, but now 4 races stand between these drivers and a spot in the Championship 4. All remaining drivers in the field are now within 22 points of each other after the reset, so every race counts and every position is absolutely critical. The venue for the playoff opener is an absolute icon of NASCAR racing. Set in Sullivan County, Tennessee, is a half-mile, blisteringly fast oval with corner speeds over 120 miles an hour and lap times below 15 seconds, with up to 28 degrees of banking on its concrete surface and surrounded by 150,000 rabid fans. Bristol Motor Speedway is a track that will test these championship hopefuls to the absolute limit. I'm Olivia Hayward, bringing you all of the action throughout the playoffs live on JCTV, and with just a few minutes left in practice, let's take a look at our 10 championship contenders. Rivers Jones leads the field after taking a win at Phoenix with 2 rounds to go in the season. He takes the point in the standings with 9 top 10s in the running. I think stage points helping out quite a lot for Rivers Jones, because Walls also took 1 win on the season. This time it was at your finale of the regular season at Atlanta Motor Speedway just last week. 10 top 10s and 6 top 5s punctuate a fantastic season for the number 7. And like Rivers Jones, having that race win to lead into the playoffs will give oodles of confidence as we head into tonight's race. Justin Rohr is third in the standings with a 15-point advantage. Took a win back at IRP in the first short track of the season. This, of course, a good place to really to perform. But aside from the tricky Atlanta, has been on good form as of late with 3 top 10s in the last 4 races. You carry that through into championship running. Stephen Maggio, with a 14-point advantage, has only made 9 starts, but with a win at Auto Club, was guaranteed a spot in the playoffs so long as he made those 9 starts and wasn't overtaken by 2 other non-playoff winners. The Auto Club win was ultimately enough. Darlington, another statement for Stephen Maggio, and really has shown that he can do it at any track if he puts his head to it. And so I can't wait to see what this driver can do heading into the rest of the season. Alex Kerfen has also 2 wins to the name. Las Vegas Motor Speedway in a dramatic fuel-saving strategy race there, and New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a little bit of a tricky one, a very much endurance race that he was able to survive. Not since Auto Club has he made a start and not finish within the top 8. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer has a race win from Watkins Glen Cup. Is a very strong road course driver, but will have to show that the second place results at Lucas Dover and Darlington can be replicated to punch a spot into the Championship 4. Justin Durand, the lead driver without a win to his name, came second at the start of the season at Daytona as he racked up consistent finishes throughout the season to book himself a place, but he's got to find that next level to have a chance at moving forward. William Kempf has a race win at Dover Motor Speedway, has struggled throughout the rest of the season, but made it into the field as a wild card, and as such is just 4 races away from making it into the championship, but once again needs to impress to find anything more out of this season. Cameron Caldwell, a league owner, also no race wins, had some great results at the likes of Auto Club, Watkins Glen and Darlington, but has made a few enemies along the way and will need to get the good running here at Bristol to start off the campaign. It would really struggle to get some clean laps in if other drivers have their way. And finally, Tristan Maher, with 0 bonus points coming into the playoffs, has a lot of work to do, but with a 3rd place at Watkins Glen and a 2nd place at Pocono within the final 3 rounds, is hitting the form at the right time to maybe make a late charge through to the field. We'll bring up the timing tower now, and as you can see, that's the wrong button. As you can see, it is Mika Walls at the top of the board. 5 playoff drivers in the top 5, all 10 of our contenders highlighted in red and blue on our tower for the rest of the season. And all 10 are looking to fight for their spot as we head straight into qualifying. Of course, 5 minutes available to our field. The format is the same as always, just 2 laps to get the job done here. We'll follow on board with William Kempf, our playoff wildcard, as he starts a qualifying run. We'll see the minimum corner speeds. It's a dab of brake into the corner, but holding in 4th gear. I expect what to warm up for lap 2 to be the fastest option. We'll see what the 0.9 can do to set a benchmark for the rest of the field. Lap number 1 is going to be a 14.6. Great work to open up, but a tap of the wall lap 2 means that I don't think this lap is going to count, and he will pull it down pit lane without an attempt to make a 2nd run at the field. Cameron Caldwell now is going to be going for a 2nd lap. The first lap was a 14.9, not particularly quick, but on lap number 2 it is an improvement, but not enough to go higher than 4th place, and only 4 drivers currently with lap times on the board. We now see Alex Kerfen is ready for a lap. Runs through turns 3 and 4 to set up for this opening lap. A lot of lines can be used at this racetrack. Progressive banking between 24 and 28 degrees, but for a qualifying run, you're going to be wanting to use that low to middle line, I think. Of course, if you're setting up for lap 2, you run that high side, but then all the way down to that yellow line as Alex Kerfen looks to maximize 2nd lap, has to avoid the wall. That will invalidate your run, of course, but the number 30 running through turns 3 and 4, so close to the wall there, and finds a 14.9. Again, not quite good enough. Maybe that high side a little bit more preferred. Bailey Thompson, one of our late season entries, goes 2nd fastest. Jonathan Jerdensmeyer comes to start lap number 2, a 14.6 on lap number 1 is good enough for pole position. Does he have anything more out of that 00 truck to start the playoff run with a bang? It looks like maybe not. That looks slow through turns 3 and 4 and will not find an improvement. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left in the qualifying run. We'll follow on board with Michael Kruger, one of our non-playoff drivers here, as he makes an attempt. We still have, I mean, Maher, Jones, Durand, so many drivers looking to start their playoff campaign with a good qualifying spot. They're waiting just a little bit longer to see the way that things progress. Checking the penalty list. There's a couple of drivers who do have a penalty to open up the playoffs, but I think potentially with being a 200 lap race and so much at stake, some of these drivers maybe opting to start from the back of the field and work their way forward slowly as Michael Kruger gives a little bit of drifting action, Formula Drift, on the other side of the country this weekend, Michael. But great work hitting that zone nonetheless. Third fastest for the 41 car. And now here we go, Mika Walls on the way out of pit lane. You see, trying to warm the tyres up a little bit. And out onto the racetrack. I think this could be a very, very good lap indeed if he thinks he's nailed the preparation to get that perfect run around the 0.533 miles at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lap number 1 has been shown to be pretty quick if you can get the perfect run in. Is running high through 3 and 4, so could have a chance on lap number 2 as well. I think just about avoided the wall there and sets a 14.576 pole position with just 30 seconds left in the session. Not much time for anyone to respond here. Will there be an improvement on the second lap? It doesn't maybe look like it, but Rivers Jones now improves by just 7/1000ths of a second. Will go to the top of the board, and with just 15 seconds left in this one, Justin Rohr goes third fastest. Tristan Maher has time to get across the line here, and everyone leave it till the very last second, waiting for the track to cool down a little bit. Does Tristan Maher get a lap in time? Yes, he does. It's a 14.657. Good enough for 7th fastest. That all came to a head right at the end of our qualifying session. But now we have our field set for the first round of the playoffs. Let's take a look at your starting grid for tonight's race. Rivers Jones takes that pole position ahead of Mika Walls by less than 1/100th of a second. Great run from both of them. Justin Rohr and Jonathan Jordensmeyer, the Go-Int drivers, will line up on row number 2 before we go to Gabe Tazzola and William Kempf on the 3rd row of the grid. Tristan Maher and Michael Kruger will line up row number 4 for tonight's race, with Stephen Maggio and Bailey Thompson rounding out your top 10. Levi Paul and Jamie Wright will make up row number 6 for tonight's race, with Cameron Caldwell and Fidel Fabian starting on row 7. Cameron Caldwell with some work to do in this one. Alex Kerfman and David Durand starting at the tail end of the field, with Justin Durand and Stephen Thornton, your final 2 drivers in tonight's race. I believe Justin Durand does have quite a heavy penalty to serve here. And, I mean, correct, that's Justin Rohr, who has quite a big penalty. So, going to be a tough one to recover from for the number 76. But, of course, he stands 3rd in the championship with a 15-point buffer to the rest of the field. So, may have a good chance of, well, first of all, getting back to the lead lap with some early cautions, as well as, even if it's a tough race, make his way into the final 3 rounds of the round of 10. But Charlotte, Talladega and Homestead, plenty of time to make something happen here. So Justin Rohr did set a qualifying lap, but will start from pit lane. You see him spawning there off to the left-hand side. We'll let the rest of the field go by for what will be 2 pace laps for tonight's race. Any track under a mile, of course, iRacing gives the field a little bit more time to gather up. There will be a stage break, of course, at the end of lap 50. But we are going to be good on fuel. The fuel tank goes about 150 laps, so if you take a set of tyres at that moment, you are going to be good to go to the end of the race. And I can't imagine you want to take a set of tyres that long, either, with how difficult and heavy usage this track can be when you get it wrong. 200 laps, ready for action. We are 1 to green here at Bristol Motor Speedway. In the top 4, you see all of those drivers in red, highlighted with the blue backgrounds, are your playoff contenders. The other 8, well, they still want the glory of winning at the last great Coliseum. With 200 laps, 100 miles to get this one done. It is Jones and Walls, your top two, as the pace truck will pull off. Anyway, to go racing for 200 laps here at Bristol. Barney the Flagman waves the green flag. We are underway. The playoffs begin here in the BSR AMSOIL Truck Series. With his Jones with a difficult start has fallen to third place already. Gabe Trezola up 2 spots. The lead of our open drivers here, but has a bit of a whittle there. Through turns 3 and 4, he's going to keep it up high and stay out of the way, but he's going to fall all the way back to 7th place here. Rico Walls at 1 position, Jonathan Jordensmeyer up 2, of course. Justin Rourke qualified 3rd, had a 1-lap hold to serve to open up this race and is waiting for hopefully something before the stage caution for the 76 to get back onto the lead lap and to start working his way through the field. Once again, stage at the end of lap 50, we're more than 10% of the way there already in this one, and points will be awarded as usual, 10 through to 1 for the drivers at the top 10 of each stage. No concern about what playoff points will be awarded. If you make it to the championship 4, all 4 drivers will be set at 3,000 and have an equal footing into those final 3 races at Iowa, Michigan, and Chicagoland. We have a slow car. It's Fidel Fabian, it looks like, who's having a little bit of trouble. As Stephen Thornton, I think, as well. Also, oh no, Jamie Wright, sorry. Number 89 with heavy damage already. Is going to be forced into pit lane and could be an early retirement for the 89. Let's see if we can get a look at what happened to the number 89 truck. And there's already damage to that truck before we even get here. Let's have a look. And this is out of turn number 2. Goes up high for turn 3. Now, oh, it is Fidel Fabian who has a slide on the way in, and unfortunately it falls to put the number 89 in the wall. Let's have a look again. Out of turn 2, a little bit unstable down on the low side there. Now into turn 2, just completely over rotates it, and you see that is David Durand forced to make a void in action and into the number 89. Back to live pictures here. Already on lap 13 of this race, Justin Rourke still the only driver 1 lap down, still in that lucky dog position after the early penalty. But we have battles up and down the field. The top 4, or top 3 still all but started basically. William Kempf moves up into 4th place. We have 7 playoff drivers in the top 10. That just shows that we have the best of the field here as Gabe Trezola still struggling, has a fast truck, but a very unstable one. And once again, falls down the order early and makes way for Stephen Maggio. And there's a caution out on the racetrack. It's Gabe Trezola, I think, finally has had a little bit too aggressive of a run. I wonder if there's a little bit of rear brake bias into that to find some rotation. It was just a little bit too much out of this one. Let's see if we can get a look at what's happened. It sounded like there was a little bit of contact behind. Let's go and see what happens to 95. And actually, it's a little bit of contact with the 27. Prolonged contact over the start-finish line. That is Bailey Thompson. The contact of Gabe Trezola bringing out the first caution of the day. And the best friend of these two right now is that 76 truck. Justin Rourke for Goat Racing will find himself And right now, being waved up past the field and back onto the lead lap. 17 trucks now, ready to fight for the rest of this one. Jamie Wright out early with some heavy damage and could be our first retirement of the day. The rest of the field is going to move forward as we have a few takers down on pit lane. Gabe Tazzola, Stephen Thornton, and Jonathan Jerdensmeyer, who I think may have entered the wrong pit lane potentially. A longest pit lane time for the 00 right now. Or, yeah. The 95 looking to get a little bit of damage fixed up. As there are shorter cautions now on short tracks in iRacing as part of an update to try and make tracks like Martinsville a little bit more bearable. In fact, we're still too green, I should say. But I believe next time by, we will see the lights go out on the pace truck. And we will go back racing once again. Gabe Zola, I'm sure, either to not go a lap down, is now rolling off pit lane and will beat the pace truck out. And it looks like we come to the choose now. Walls and Kempf go high. So Walls and Jones go high. William Kempf goes low in this one. Highland can be very powerful on restarts at a track like this. Now 8 playoff drivers in the top 10. It is all to play for with 30 laps until our quarter-way stage break. And our first set of playoff, not quite playoff points, you know what I mean. They're awarded. Rika Walls lights up the throttle, goes back to green flag. And we are racing once again here at Bristol. And we are side by side behind, 2 abreast. And it takes a while to shuffle out here. You see Thompson staying nice and high here. Doesn't really want to get in the way of this playoff battle. But sweeps all the way around. Michael Kruger has some good pace in that F150. A couple of disappointing races to open up their campaign. But up front, this top 5 have their eyes on just one thing. Tristan Maher sweeps around the outside of William Kemp. That low restart really not working out well for the number 9, already down to 5th position. Justin Rourt yet to make many moves from the back of the field after that early penalty, but has a lot of time to make it happen. I think is relying on maybe a little bit of tyre conservation in this phase of the race. Jones and Maggio fighting close by for second place here. They've broken away from the trucks behind. And towards 0.4 of a second, even more of a gap towards these two. You can almost get dizzy if you watch this for too long. Such close battles the whole way through the field. This is Caldwell diving to the inside of Bailey Thompson. They're going to be side by side on exit. And Thompson's going to have that run, have the momentum on the outside. The 28 degrees of banking up there compared to just 24 down low. Caldwell going to have to slot in nearly. Comes up into the rear quarter panel of Thompson. I think the 27 maybe got up into the wall there. But Caldwell now under immense pressure from Justin Durand, Alex Kerf and Jonathan Jerdensmeyer all under a blanket. And Caldwell gets into the wall and actually gets shuffled all the way out of the top 10. Who's there to pick up pieces? Justin Durand is the leader with Alex Kerfen just a tiny bit behind. Jerdensmeyer goes low, but Kerfen will have the run on the exit of the corner and can't quite take it to the high side of Justin Durand. Oh, side by side. Alex Kerfen on that low side, so he's trying to make it work, try to get past these two. But Jerdensmeyer is leaving absolutely nothing on the table on that high side. They're going to be in lots of almost. Kerfen goes all the way up to the door. And a little bit dirty, yeah, maybe thrown from Durand, also defending that high side. but it'll be enough to bring Jordensmeyer past Kerfen, and they'll have to slot in here. Oh, that's a spin. That's Bailey Thompson, who has a moment through turn 2. Down to and outside the top 10. I'm not sure whether that was contact induced or whether that was just a little bit loose, the same way we saw from Fidel Fabian early on in this one. But now, look at that timing tower. A bit of a multi-class affair here. The top 9, all your playoff runners, with just Justin Raw climbing up through after serving that penalty at the start of the race. And thankfully for him, getting it out of the way and back on the lead lap nice and quickly. Even Maggio wants to try and get this move done on Rivers Jones. Maggio up 6 spots from the start of the race. Justin Durand up 11, incredibly, up to 17th after, I believe, being forced to set out of qualifying due to a penalty from Atlanta. Durand and Jordensmeyer actually are going to be dueling here, and Jordensmeyer's gotten to the inside and he's looking to shuffle the number 5 back down. And actually, Durand's struggling a little bit late in this opening stage. Maybe it's taken a bit too much out of these tyres. And we'll have to slot back into 7th place. Currently, all drivers are in around about the 15.5s. The margins are so tight here. As currently just Fidel Fabian, Gabe Stoller and Stephen Thornton be left a little bit behind, but that's Cameron Caldwell. A spin off turn 2, and that will be your second caution of the night. Careful on the rejoin. And as we approach lap 40 in this race, a very tricky question is posed to these drivers. Do you stay out and try and get to the end of this stage, or do you hold on and go for well, you pit early, give up the stage points, but go for that race win? You see, just as us already over-rotating in that mid part of turn 2, spins low, and Michael Crew were able to avoid, but Cameron Caldwell gets shuffled all the way to the back of the field. We get going once again. Do any of these drivers look to take the trip down pit lane? It looks like a fair few of them are. Levi Poland leads the field down. Bailey Thompson, Justin Raw, Fidel Fabian, Dave Zola and Cameron Caldwell. Most of the drivers outside the top 10 taking that gamble. Among those, Justin Raw, Cameron Caldwell as 2 playoff runners. They'll have maybe 5 laps to try and get back through the field once we get back racing, to try and get some stage points to open up the campaign. Justin Raw, of course, with a very late pit box, qualified 3rd, gains the benefit of that starting position. It's going to take right side tyres. You'd imagine we'll take left sides as well. And it will be Bailey Thompson first off pit lane, just about winning the race from Levi Poland. And then Justin Raw and Cameron Caldwell will slot in behind. Stephen Thornton pits late here and will fall to the tail end, because I think our leaders are coming up to the shoes now. So it will be 8 laps of racing action, 4 miles, to determine the winner of the opening stage here in the first round of the playoffs. You've got the top 10 all on their original set. Jonathan Jones might actually pit about 20 laps ago and maybe took a set of tyres there. Everyone from 11th on back below that yellow line on 4 fresh Goodyear tyres. But Mika Walls will fire off. It's a great jump on that high side once again, and will be clear into turns 1 and 2. They'll be side by side behind. And the top 8 looking to just try and get the next few laps done without any big drama. We'll see what these playoff runners are doing behind, and oh my goodness, look at the swarm, as that is contact for Levi Poland. Justin Raw, I think, potentially knocking the number 90 around, and that is not going to help bring him up into the stage point, because that is going to knock off another few laps of running here. Let's see if we can have a look at exactly what it was that caused the issue there. We go to the restart. Nice and clean through 1 and 2. You see everyone's trying to push forward on those fresh tyres here. Then a little bit bottled up behind the likes of Alex Kerfen and David Durand, who didn't make that stop last time by. Michael Kruder as well. Everyone is just under an absolute blanket. And you can see Justin Vaught tries to get to the inside, but there's not really a lane to go for. 30 goes around the 76, forced to save it down on that low side. The 11 picking up a little bit of contact as well. Kruder will pit. Poland will pit, I think, just to check the damage on that truck. And that is our third caution of the night here. Third? I think third. Could be wrong. They do go quickly enough that you can kind of get a good rhythm out of this race. We are going to get a chance to restart with, I believe, 2 laps left in our opening stage. So a little bit of a green-white checker. We could see one of those decide this race, up to 3 available at the end of 200 laps. But this one, just a little bit of a trial run here as the field comes through. I believe we've not gotten to the choose yet. Here it comes. I think we know where Walls is going to go. He's been leading this whole race so far. Goes high. Jones goes high as well. Steven Maggio opts low. And we'll try and make that line work. Only has to get a mile around to make it happen. So it could be a good option on this restart. The front 4 rows all in playoff contention. Mika Walls holds that high side, gets ready to fire off for 1 more mile of racing before we get our stage points awarded. Number 7 into the zone, gets on the power and gets turned. And that's an immediate caution. That will end the stage. And what on earth happened there? In fact, let's go. Yeah, let's just run this slowly. I want to see if Walls... There's a little bit of contact with Maggio. There's maybe a little bit of contact from Rivers Jones there as well. I don't think that was wheel spin from the 7. I think there was help there. We'll run it back on board with Rivers Jones and go to the roof cam here. And see if there was contact. That looks like contact, but maybe Maggio pushing more than Jones did. I'm not too sure. Walls, of course, will come down pit lane. I don't dare hit the stage button here because I'm not quite sure what the order will be determined for that. Most of the field down on pit lane, I think Rivers Jones might be credited with your stage win. But it's really up in the air. All of those trucks who didn't pit at lap 40 will take their first set of tyres. Now we'll have, well, take the second set, I should say. The first one started on the truck. And we'll have 3 more ready and waiting in the pit lane if they are so needed. But what that does is it really shuffles up the order because, first of all, you've got a lot of trucks that flip the stage here, but also trucks like Walls, who were running so strong all the way through the opening stage, are now going to find themselves at the very back of the field and looking to make a recovery drive. Justin Raw now finds himself in 4th position after being lapped down from the start of this race. Cameron Caldwell not earning any stage points, I believe, from that. Maybe picks them up in the melee, but importantly now leads this race, picks up those bonus points, and maybe is out of trouble in the front of the field. But I would have said that about the number 7 just 5 laps ago. We'll see if Caldwell goes for the same choice. Does go to the high side. Thompson goes low. Fabian high, Raw low. And it looks like a bit of a zigzag here for those trucks as we come through. This will be for no more scheduled cautions to the end of the race. I'm sure we will get some regardless. But it will be Caldwell and Thompson on your front row to open up stage number 2 here. Still have 17 trucks on the lead lap. Just Jamie Wright, with that unfortunate incident early, shuffled out of this race. But Cameron Caldwell has control of the field for the first time. Gets on the power with a big jump. And Fidel Fabian will follow nice and easily as Thompson gets stranded on that loose and has to try and fight back through turns 1 and 2. So now 2nd through 4th. Drivers who are not in championship contention. The rest of the top 10, well, top 15 almost, going to be eager to get forward as soon as possible. And that is a snap into the wall for Fidel Fabian. I'm not sure if that was a netcode contact, but that is a right front tyre immediately detached from the bodywork. A separate incident further back between Kempf and Jordensmeyer in the checkup, but I think that is going to be the number 11's day done, unfortunately. Let's have a look back at what happened there and see. Wasn't in this corner. It almost looked like there was a netcode contact potentially between the 27 and 11, but they were so far apart. I think it may have just been a slide for the number 11. They're clean through turns 3 and 4. It's the next time by, as Michael Truder is threatened on that low side. What is it that causes that snap for the 11? It's just a little bit too much rotation on the entry. Tries to gather it up on the high side and then, boom, into the barrier. The 0-9, I think, tries to check up and spins. The 0-0 also does the same. That rearward brake bias, I think, using it for rotation on corner entry, but can make it very difficult to slow down for a wreck when it happens. Those are 2 playoff drivers who have picked up a little bit of damage here, and will be looking to hopefully get that fixed up under this caution. But shorter caution periods now on short tracks. We know Fidel Fabian is going to be out of this race. That truck did not want to move off the wall after that sharp contact. Kempf and Jordensmeyer are down on pit lane. We'll see if they can get back out on the lead lap or whether they'll be hoping for some more cautions to wave them through. Amazingly, Thompson did still hold on to 2nd place there after Fidel Fabian had that moment on the high side. Will the 27 go and follow Caldwell up high this time? Or will they try and make that low side work once again? Thompson does go low. Kruder stays high. Rort stays high. Duran takes the row ahead. And I think once you're behind the top 4, it's less important which lane you're on, more important which row you're in. You will shuffle it out eventually. But we've had a string of a few cautions now. Down to 16 trucks remaining in this race. All 16 are still on the lead lap after some repairs for Jordensmeyer and Kempf. As we come through turn number 4 once again. Let's try and get a green flag run going here. Caldwell in control of the field. Again, big jump, has the throttle ready to go. And Thompson again gets up to 3rd on the initial launch, but has a great run on the low side. And actually will clear Kruder once again and get 2nd place. Thompson absolutely giving it everything on these restart laps. Going for the race lead, I think, on the high side of Cameron Caldwell. I'm worried about the tyre wear with how hard the 27 is pushing here, but further back, Justin Rohr flipped the stage, takes advantage. But now Justin Durand to the high side. Rohr to get bottled up here behind them before it won a Michael Truder. And now Tristan Maher looking to try and follow the number 5 through if possible. Thompson into the wall. Will fall back a long way and I think keeps it in the wall to not impede these drivers. That could be some severe damage, but I think more just knowing what's at stake in this one and letting the drivers do what they need to do at the sharp end of the field. But Whittle there from Stephen Maggio struggling for performance. We're now on board with Justin Rohr. Dives it into the low side of the corner, chasing down Justin Durand for 3rd place. Here comes Tristan Maher to the low side. 76 is not spooked. In fact, it maybe just opens the door for the 7 of Michael Walls to tuck the nose in and get up against the wall. And he's now doing a streak around the outside and up into 5th position. Stephen Maggio immediately looks for the same lane to try and replicate the move on Tristan. Can't quite get it done here. And I think once driver ahead's wise to it, there you see it from Tristan, goes all the way up to the high side, blocks off the 51. He's not now try and dive low and see if he can make a move work there. Caution is out once again. Who is it? I think it's Bailey Thompson. Again, getting caught up in some incidents here. We'll see if there was... just gets loose in the high side, and Gabe Tazzola chooses wrong. Is what I'll say for that one. I mean, of course, a little bit of a sloppy race so far for Bailey Thompson, but knowing when to lock it down, when to, you know, not get involved and risk an incident for the leaders. Gabe Tazzola had the momentum carrying high and tried to get up against the wall, but just a little bit of contact there with the 2 of them. We are back under caution with 16 trucks on the lead lap. The 27 will peel down pit lane here with a few other drivers. Rivers Jones, Jonathan Jordensmeyer and William Kemp for your playoff runners, looking for, I'd imagine, a fresh set of tyres potentially, but also see a lot of those trucks looking to continue repairing from some earlier incidents maybe. Rivers Jones, that right front doesn't look particularly happy on the Yahoo Toyota Tundra. And sure enough, no crew jetting up for the right side of the truck. Going to be just some superficial repairs there for as much as you can get before the pace truck comes back around here at Bristol. These drivers know it's a long race. They know that there's likely to be more cautions to punch them back up. Jones will wait as long as he needs to. Gets the engine fired, and with 30 seconds more repair clicked off, looking back out on the racetrack as we get stacked up. Michael Truder goes low. Again, those non-playoff drivers looking to that low side, trying to take the race lead on restarts. But it's just, I don't know what you can do. I mean, it's hard enough to restart on the front row and get that reaction time when you have the other truck on your immediate driver's side. If it's all the way on the passenger side and they can carry the momentum around turns 1 and 2, there's very little you can do on that low side. We'll see if Michael Truder has a better reaction than Bailey Thompson will be able to get. It's a little bit better, but ultimately still falls in straight behind Cameron Caldwell, and the number 12 has room to slot in nice and early. And now Justin Durand sees the door open on the high side, tries to take it, and we're under caution once again. And Jonathan Jordensmeyer turned around off turn number 2. And it's Bailey again. Spins it. Jordensmeyer has to hit the brakes to avoid, and has a an awkward reverse contact with the wall. Hopefully the right rear is still pointing straight here for the 0-0. But a very rough race indeed. I mean, for the 27, but for the entire field, cannot seem to get a green flag run going here. As we click towards lap 75 and edge closer to the halfway point. The top 10 stay out. The rest of the field do come down pit lane again, potentially just for repairs. But at some point, one of these drivers might decide to bolt on a set of tyres once they've got the truck patched up and try and cut their way through the field. If they can get enough green flag laps to make it happen anyway. Jordensmeyer damage to the front end. That's from a previous incident on the F-150. And then now maybe a little bit of damage to that right rear. The spoiler a little bit bent up on that right-hand side. Insult injury. A little bit too far forward in the box and has to roll back. Bailey Thompson, long on pit lane, now down one lap, I think. May have decided to give it another go on another week, just not seeming to have the long run here at Bristol. Has great one-lap pace and putting a great qualifying lap, but just seeming to find the rear end overtake a little bit too often. And so Jordensmeyer does get rolling again on the lead lap. We still have 15 trucks circulating out on this lead lap as we are stacked up double file once again. Everyone basically in the same positions they were, with Caldwell looking to get the jump on Kruger once again. And yeah, Kruger not getting the good restart. They're going to be stacked up side by side. Cameron Caldwell has some room to work with. It's very much bunched up, this entire pack behind, though. See Justin Roth right up against the wall. Mika Wall's a little bit low. Kruger going to get shuffled. Duran gets around. Roth going to try and follow. But Kruger with a big dive off turn 2. Tries to close the door. Can't quite get there. Mika Wall's following behind. Hoping that Kruger gets some run. Because the number 17 now has Mika pinched on that low side as well. He finally gets high. Runs a bit of a block on Tristan. Get around. There's a little bit of contact between the 76 and the 5, but they both get through and around. The 41 very much getting shuffled here, but Justin Moore on that low side also struggling for momentum. And now the 41's right back on his bumper. It seems like in the long run, very much a one-groove racetrack on this high side. As Justin Moore shuffled down to 5th. Now going to be 6th place, and he tries to finally slot in and should have the gap just ahead of Justin Durand here, who is going to go side by side with Michael Kruger. The top 6 now all play up. Cameron Caldwell and Justin Durand up 12 and 15 spots respectively, but Cameron Caldwell up with a 1 second lead, using those restarts and that clear air to the advantage. Michael Walls will slot into 3rd place to try and fend off the pressure from Tristan Marr, who peaked low. Justin Durand actually running a very low line, but is able to use the entire racetrack to make it work. So 51 almost gets into the wall there. Durand forced to the high side as Michael Walls goes for the low side. They're going to be side by side into turns 1 and 2 once again, and I think the 5 is just to have the momentum to clear. See how difficult it is to make those moves happen, as Gabe Zola will go a lap down here. First instance of lap traffic for this field to navigate. As Alex Kerfan goes for the dive on the inside of David Duran, wants to get up towards that top 6 and will use the number 95 as a pick to make sure he can get that done. Gabe Zola still with lingering damage from the earlier instance will fall lap down, as will, in fact, Jonathan Jerdensmeyer, who does not have that truck fully patched up. The 00 is currently in a lucky odd position. The rest of the field within half a lap of your race leader. Maggio makes the run up on the high side, but gets into the back of the 00. Now gets around, but might have a little bit of damage on that right front corner. But also not helping the 00 with his run and damage limitation in this playoff round. But now as Stephen Maggio loops it, contact with David Durand. And I caught myself. I started the sentence, and that was enough for fate to decide that that was enough of that green flag run. And that, in fact, we were to go back under caution. I think Stephen Maggio, with... that is a left front tyre that is not pointing the way it should be. That could be heartbreak for the 51. Jerdensmeyer, I think, will get a chance to get back onto the lead lap here. As we get a replay, a snap off turn 2 already seems unstable. And then in towards turn 3, goes to that high side and just can't find grip on the rear right tyre. Tries to catch it, has that slide, and David Durand, already committed to that high side, knocked that tyre all the way in. And Stephen Maggio has to fall into the pit lane. And his day, in fact, might be done. Could be off fourth retirement from this one. The field all comes into pit lane now, taking this as a chance to get some fresh tyres, as well as make sure, doubly, triply sure you have enough fuel to get to the end. It was never really the main concern at a track like this. Levi Paul and Michael Kruger opt to stay out on 40 and 45 lap old tyres to go to the race lead. They might bail out of that one before too long. The entire rest of the field down on pit lane will see if Cameron Caldwell can win the race off pit lane, or whether someone else is going to have the jump. It is going to be the number 12, but only just Mika Walls with a great run. And then it is Tristan Maher ahead of Justin Durand on the way out. We will see if either of those front two opt to pit, or whether this is their chance to inherit some track position. Because Cameron Caldwell was dominant in the start of that second stage, but partly because he could get those jumps on the restarts. He had control of what he was doing. Now he's behind Levi Poland, which is still a decent spot to be in terms of timing your restart, but it's not perfect. As I looked at Jonathan Jerdensmeyer, in fact, has not picked up for the Lucky Dog in that instant. Is still down on pit lane, taking some additional repairs. Or maybe did pick it up and opted to go back one lap down, knowing there was likely to be more time for cautions. But now new race leader Levi Pohl and Michael Kruger front row on old tyres. We'll see what they can do and whether the trucks behind can do anything, as that's a big stack up on the restart. And contact still between Mika Walls, Justin Rohr, getting backed up into Alex Kerfan. This is a very messy situation. Michael Kruger getting swallowed up already there. Poland still just about holding on. But you see Cameron Caldwell dive to the low side to try and get around, clears, and Tristan Maher will follow through. This is a very, very difficult moment for these drivers. They're three wide. Mika Walls slots through the middle. Yeah, Poland getting shuffled out on the high side. Justin Rohr, Justin Durand looking to move through as Mika Walls hunting down Tristan Maher again. I think that's a gamble that hasn't paid off and very nearly brought the rest of the field with it. Everyone's still getting shuffled on that high slide. Has the momentum, of course, over Justin Duran, taking that shorter line, that shallower line. But you can see that the 5 is just able to challenge so much easier with those fresher tyres. And just stays in lockstep with the number 90, and I think maybe... Oh, he's going to end up making contact with that truck, and they are going to run back up the racetrack. And I don't know if they collected him. Well, I think we just about got away with that. But that's a caution out once again, and that old tyre gamble really not paying off for the number 90, or indeed the number 41 very much. Yeah, the replay of what happened there. Go to our high up camera from the spot stand. I think it was on the back stretch here. And you see the 90 exits a little bit low, but gets back up to the wall, and the 5, I think, just tries to use a little bit too much room. And spins the 90, contact to that rear bumper. Bounces Levi back up the track, but fortunately it comes to rest without anyone else collecting that Ford F-150. That'll be a trip down pit lane, of course, to take some repairs to the rear end of the number 90. A few other trucks also opting for a pit stop. Michael Truder taking off that set of tyres and going onto a fresh set of Goodyears. As Jonathan Jonesmeyer actually has not come back out of pit lane, has chosen to retire from this one. Or at least he's fallen 9 laps down in that damage repair. The rest of the field now 13 trucks, all on the lead lap. 8 playoff contenders. Jonesmeyer and Maggio with the nightmare start to their campaign, especially for Maggio, who had 8 top 10s in 9 starts up until this point. Has to find a few more of those good results to bounce back through the longer tracks as we get towards Championship 4 cut-off. Cameron Colwell once again goes to the high side. Justin Maher goes low, Mika Walls goes high. We are now past the halfway point in this race. And we've got a long way to go, but it seems like tensions are very much flaring between these drivers. Frustrations between drivers on different strategies, on different sides of the championship fight. Most recent caution, contact between the number 5 and the number 90, where both of those were a factor. And now it's Cameron Caldwell back to the point, back with control of the restart on that high side through the restart zone, and a great jump as we have come to expect from that number 12 Chevrolet Silverado. But Tristan Maher actually responds well. He's going to try and fight this one back on the low side, but Mika Ward's going to close off that lane on entry. Is going to get that move done, and is now right on the bumper of Cameron Caldwell. Goes to the low side, going to try and make it happen down there, and he's going to have the nose ahead out of turn 2, but can't carry the momentum to the wall on exit with the 12 outside. The wall's just starting to slide back a little bit corner by corner, and will have to slot into the high side. Cameron Caldwell's not going to let anyone get up onto that rear right corner. He knows how important that high side is, going all the way up at the wall to defend from the number 7. I'd say we have 9 trucks still properly on the pace. Rivers Jones trying to get around. We have Polanders, a little bit of contact, a little bit of a rub out of turn 3 and 4 there. Walls trying every lane possible to get the move done on Cameron Caldwell. Ultimate's top 3 starting to streak away. Alex Kerfoot trying to catch back up to them as well, and Walls goes low once again. He's alongside as a nose ahead, but no more than that. And Cameron Caldwell gets the run on that high side once again to defend that race lead for another while longer. Rivers Jones has now cleared the to get back into the top 10, but has 3 seconds to the top 9 now. He's in danger of being left behind by the rest of this field. As Cameron Caldwell, not with a great run there, through 3 and 4. Walls almost able to clear. He has a chance through 1 and 2 now. Tried to close the door. Now can slam the door. Mika Walls still leading this race. Cameron Caldwell tries to respond, diving down low, but Walls is smart to it. Covers it off. And I think now he's going to try and go eyes forward as Tristan Maher works to put some pressure towards the bumper of that number 12. Gabe Zola goes down to pit lane. Could be his day done here. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is rolling once again, 23 laps down, looking to pick off any spots available as Levi Poland also down on pit lane now. So a number of trucks falling out of contention. Out of 4. 5th place or 6th place, very hot indeed. Justin Duran trying to fend off Justin Roth on the low side. Kempf and David Duran looking to pick up the pieces. And it looks like the 5 is going to be able to defend this on that high side and should be able to clear. And now William Kempf tries to take advantage and get around the number 76 as well. Right up against the wall was the 09 there. Four cars under a blanket is always a little bit dangerous here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Michael Trude's actually made a great run through the field on those fresher tyres. Is challenging towards the back of Michael Trude. He's gotten past Tristan Maher. We have to have a quick look at that one, as actually is the number 41 putting a huge press on the rest of the field here. As the tyre advantage, he's trying to make that low side work to get around Caldwell for second. We've seen how well he was able to defend on that high side, but this is just letting Mika Walls run away a little bit as we get into the later stages race. That's Stephen Thornton going a lap down, getting nice and out of the way where possible. And Trude's got the nose ahead. Can he clear here? Go for a little bit of a slide pass and up to the high side off turn 2. Move Michael Trude up to second place here. Some great pace in that truck. Whereas Jones is now 1 lap down, in fact. I think the top 9, the only trucks on pace, as in fact that is number 18 into the wall. And that will bring this green flag run to a halt. I'm not sure whether there was help there from, it may have been the number 41 of Weather. Rivers was already losing control of that truck. Let's have a quick look at what happened on board the number 18. And that's contact. Michael Trude a little bit impatient there with Rivers Jones running slow ahead. Nudges around that Yahoo truck. They will be 1 lap down and not in recipient of that lucky dog, that free pass. And that will reset the field with Walls losing that 1 second margin. It's been 33 laps since our leaders have come down pit lane. Cameron Caldwell makes the late dive down and leaves Walls and Trude stranded out on the racetrack. Most of the rest of the field following the number 12 in. Alex Kerfoot opts to stay out, but he's, I think, the only one. The rest of the field will stay below that blue line. Take what will be, I believe, their 4th of 5 sets of Goodyear tyres. Seeing how the advantage of Michael Kruger was there, they want to make sure that if we get another long green flag run here, it takes us towards the end of the race, that they have what it takes to bring them through the field. And only 4 trucks staying out means they're going to be incredibly vulnerable at the front of the field. Stephen Thornton actually is likely to pit here late, as he tends to fall to the tail end of the field, not wanting to get involved in these lead fights. Cameron Caldwell does win the race off pit lane ahead of Tristan Mahu and Justin Raw. But Mika Walls, who was in such a strong position after taking the lead from Cameron Caldwell, now has a very difficult task at hand. Try and work around, or to try and defend from these trucks trying to work their way around. We come to choose out. Not quite sure what's happening down here. I think Michael Kruger maybe getting an EOL to serve and will fall to the tail end. It has extended caution by a lap as they are formed up, starting to form double file behind. We'll restart with just over 70 to go in this race. I would love if we could get a 70-lap green flag run to bring us home, but not sure how realistic that wish is going to be. It's possible we could get a good 30 or 40 though. Just as long as we can navigate this restart and navigate these slower trucks at the front of the field. We can walls Alex Kerfin on the front row without too much of a calamity behind. Pace truck will pull. It's turn 2, never mind. See, everyone gets it mixed up sometimes. You forget which side you need to pit in. Pace truck stays out for 2 more corners. And now, Mika Walls will have control. We'll have to nail this restart to not get swallowed up by Cameron Caldwell, David Durand, Justin Raw and co. It's not the best jump, but it's enough, I think, to clear Alex Kerfin into turn 1. But way too high through the mid-corner. Leave the door open. This is going to form a little bit of a roadblock here as David Durand actually gets the best run through 1 and 2 there. Cameron Caldwell will fight back on the high side as Rivers Jones is 1 lap down. Will let the field through here. And Alex Kerfin shuffled up high and Cameron Caldwell goes low. How long will it take before he's able to do the same to the number 7 of Walls and get back to the race lead? Durand with Kemp behind him, not be able to make any progress just yet. Now clears Alex Kerfin. But that's a loose moment from Walls out of turn 4. It opens the door for the 12 Cameron Caldwell. And they're going to be side by side off turn 2, as I believe David Durand is going to move low to try and let some of these leaders by. Does not want any part of this fight. And the caution actually is out, as been an incident somewhere. And was that before Durand slowing? There's no way, right? Get the replay. See, the 24 has some sort of issue, gets to the low side. And has a half spin and collects Michael Kruger a little bit. He tries to out the way, but I think a little bit too aggressive on that front. Or the number 24 is in a rough spot with so many drivers pushing to get around Michael Kruger. Hopefully we're not too much damage on the front end. Never mind, that is quite significant bodywork impact to the 41. They will come down pit lane. Stephen Thornton will as well. We have Mika Walls pits, Alex Kerfin pits. They needed to get those tyres off. They're off cycle now, have to work their way through, and only have about a 6, maybe not even that, maybe a 5-lap green flag delta. We saw what Crew was able to do with a 10-lap delta, to be fair, but it's easier said than done when you have some very hungry drivers in front of you. Walls, I believe, should rejoin the race in 7th position. As in fact, Stephen Thornton wins the race off pit lane there. After taking fuel, and he'll be back down, I think, to move the number 7 up into 7th. Well, I think he better sped to make it a little bit easier and let race control do the work. Back to the choose there. Caldwell, of course, goes high. William Kemp will try and make it work on the low side, because Walls also goes low. I believe it'll be the 3rd truck in line there. And I think eyes will be on the number 7, because he seems to be the only truck who was able to get that move done on the number 12 prior to this latest stage of pit stops. He's got fresh tyres, but he's got 5 trucks to get around before we get there. Cameron Caldwell wants to take control of the field for what must be the 10th or 11th restart of this race. Great jump. Justin Durand will follow behind. Can't quite clear William Kemp to turn number 1, but will have the momentum on the high side. And through turns 3 and 4, they'll be locked in side by side once again. Mika Walls immediately goes to that high side to get around Justin Raw. Justin Durand almost able to clear here. Gets to the rear, bump at Cameron Caldwell. But now goes low ahead of the 09 to try and put some pressure on Cameron at the front of the field. 60 laps to go next time by. The 2/3 mark of this race. And you see Walls glued to that high side, trying to follow Tristan Maher through, knowing it's the easiest way to get a move done. A moment from Kemp on the low side might open it up. Justin Durand misses the corner a little bit on that high side, and that checks up those 2 ahead. But I think Walls giving a push to the 17 to try and clear Kemp, who is still pinned down low. Doing everything he can to hold on to 3rd position here. He's already lost 2nd place to Justin Durand, who is still struggling to keep it in that middle groove. He's going all the way up to the wall, which I don't think has benefited his pace that much. Put under a little bit of fire now as Tristan Mars well and truly streaked by. Mika Walls hoping to make it quick here on the 09. Cameron Caldwell 0.8 of a second ahead of this group. Doing a great job to watch this fight in the rearview mirror and just focus on running clean laps. 14.982 last time by. The rest of the field battling the 15.0s, 15.1s. Mika Walls finally clear. Now goes to the low side to try and get a move on Tristan Maher. Could end up in that storm the same way, but he's actually looking to get some great runs. Justin Durand, again, we mentioned his struggle on the high side. And in fact, there's contact. Everyone is out of shape. That is Justin Raw eating the attenuator. And that'll bring out the caution. What on earth happened on that high side between Tristan Maher and Justin Durand? Raw does have a meatball flag to serve now. We're going to have to slow this one down, actually. Let's roll it back just a little bit further. So you see Justin Durand on that high side because Walls low. Durand tries to cut down but moves into the path of the number 7. It shuffles him up into the 17. The 76 hits the brakes to try and avoid. Ends up sliding. Tapped her into the barrels a little bit by the number 30. And also that does all start on the nose of Mika Walls, who is there just maybe a little bit too late as Justin Durand goes to take that low side and tries to make that line work. That If he's struggling with the high side for quite a while, it makes sense he'd try something different. And Mika Wall's just not expecting the 5 to be there when he was. So more than likely, day done for Justin Rort here. He's going to stay out just a little bit longer to see if he can pick up any spots, but I'm not so hopeful for that number 76. Would have pretty significant damage on the left front wheel, and I think that steering wheel not really pointing the way it should be. Yeah, no, that's not good. That is not good for Justin Rort. For a driver who came into the playoffs in 3rd place, has some points to rely on, thankfully, but he's going to pull it down to the apron. I think let the field by here. And in fact, might see him get removed from this plane of resistance in just a few seconds' time. We are 1 to green at the front of the field here. Cameron Caldwell once again going to have control of the restart. Durand, Thornton and Maher all pit last time by, so some drivers taking what I think might be their final set of tyres in this race. Cameron Caldwell has Mika Walls to fend off on a few lap pressure tyres. Here's the restart. And Walls immediately, Justin Durand puts number 7 into the wall. I'm not sure how much of that was in response to what happened a little bit earlier. The number 7, I mean, make sure that he has a chance to catch back up to the field. But that happened very quickly, and you've got to say it must have been precipitated by that incident that took Justin Durand out. So it's gone on board with the number 5 onto the right front, the roof cam here, and he just gets in, is almost pushing down the straightaway, and then into the corner, goes all the way low. I mean, it's going to make the argument that he was just trying to stick that low side and that he got pinched a little bit by the number 7. Cautions, breeding cautions here. Mika Walls comes down pit lane for some repairs. And not able to make good use of that fresh set of tyres. David Durand and Stephen Thornton, 2 drivers not in our playoff hunt, I think have fresh tyres and are now running 4th and 5th. Just behind Caldwell, Kerfen and Kempf. Field getting very thin on the ground indeed. Down to single-digit number of trucks on the lead lap here. A few back mods trying to pick up spots to see, and there could be some good spots to gain if you stick at it. Jonathan Jerdersmeyer 22 laps down, looking to capitalise as much as possible. Justin Rort has been disqualified for not serving that meatball flag out of the race under the DVP, and the 00 will pass the 76 here. We are stacked up once again. Can we please get some racing going? Cameron Caldwell has been ultimately exactly where he needs to be. He's been ahead of all of this. Though we would have said that about Mika Walls. He was forced back in the restart at the end of the green flag. We're in a very thin field now as we come towards the final 40 laps of this race. Caldwell with a great jump. Alex Kerfen behind. And William Kemp's looking to put a pile of pressure on. Tries to get to the high side there. Get around Alex Kerfen, but he won't open the door. 9 trucks on the lead lap here. And these top 3 under a blanket and with a point to prove. Cameron Caldwell yet to take a win this season. William Kemp in the playoffs on the back of a win. And Alex Kerfen on 2 of 10 starts, but only started the playoffs in 5th place and looking to consolidate, going a lot higher. Kerfen goes low in turns 3 and 4. Caldwell will rip the high side as he has been doing all race long and clear once again. William Kemp a little bit unstable there through 3 and 4, nearly ended up in the wall, looking to use that high side come hell or high water. Tristan Maher trying to make the move on David Durant, who tags the wall. The Hershey's truck will not make too much of a fight there and let number 17 get up into 4th place. He's on fresh tyres. He could play a huge factor in the remainder of this fight. Tristan Maher in 2/10 faster than this lead trio. We're right on board for a little bit. See what the number 17 is able to do to try and get around these lead 3. He has the fresher tyres, but only has about 30 laps. And just has a wall of traffic ahead. So Mika Walls on the low side go 1 lap down here. Still holds on to 9th place. Might put it back out on the racetrack, 16 laps down. See Tristan try to take advantage of these trucks getting caught up. Can't quite get to the outside of 09 there. Will now get there after a little bit of a nudge and sweeps around the outside up into 3rd place. Not much that Kemp could do once he'd been put on the back foot. Checked up by Alex Kerfen ahead. Tristan now looking to get to that rear quarter, that right rear of Alex Kerfen. Gets there without too much trouble at all to sweep around the outside on the top side of turns 1 and 2. And now just 0.3 of a second, barely anything, up to Cameron Caldwell, who does defend the high side. Tristan forced to go low. I think he was expecting this one from the number 12. Almost tried to feint low to force Caldwell to defend it and then sweep around the outside, but couldn't make that one work. In the final 25 laps here. Dives down low, gets the nose ahead, gets... Oh! And almost intimidates the number 12 out of that move. Move the number 17, Tristan Maher, to lead, and with 25 laps to go, and 30 lap fresher tyres than the trucks behind. Without a caution, that is going to move the number 17. His first win of the season, it would be, and what a time to get that book opened. Mika Walls getting lapped once again by the field here, really struggling for pace after that incident with number 5 of Justin Durand. if I recall correctly. I think if I get that one wrong, it's officially slander. So I hope I didn't make that mistake there. And Tristan now more than a second ahead of the field. These drivers on all tyres just don't have anything to respond with. They are under a blanket, these three, fighting for whatever points they can. It could be a very tight battle, and every point, every position could be crucial by the time we get to the Checkered Flag at Homestead. Alex Kerfman tries to go to the inside. William Kemp sees the opportunity, runs right behind Caldwell to the outside. And there's almost contact. Alex Kerfman might be able to force the way through here, actually. I think Cameron Caldwell maybe burning up the tyres a little bit too much, running that high side for so long. Moved Kerfman up to second. Kemp and Caldwell now side by side, and that won't last too long because William Kemp has also gotten that move done. Does Caldwell have any response to try and get back up? It doesn't look like it, and could in fact fall under a little bit of pressure from David Durand behind. Not in the playoff fight, but I'm sure would be happy to deny points to anyone not named Justin Durand in this one. Gap now 2 seconds at the front of the field. Tristan Maher, with that tyre advantage, just cuts through so easily. It's like Gabe Zoll's pulled it down pit lane to retire the truck, knowing that there might not be any more spots to gain, or maybe just getting out of the way for the time being, getting a fresh set on. You see now this fight for 4th place. David Durand looking to the high side. Tried to get the move on Cameron Caldwell. Reach Wars again getting laps now, 3 laps down for your race leaders. Such a strong running early on in this one, but that damage really paying a big price on the number 7, as David Durand has gotten to the low side, has gotten clear, and that will move Cameron Caldwell now down to 5th place. They'll try and go low to attack the Hershey's truck once again, but people learn the trick that the high side can be so good on defense. And David Durand will look to try and run away just a little bit longer. Battle for 2nd place now, side by side, with just 14 laps to go. Tristan Maher hoping these two keep it clean, and it doesn't really matter what they do at that point. I'm sure the rest of the field hoping that there's a little bit of contact between the two of them. We could have this one done in a matter of just 3 minutes or so if we do stay green here, but that is a big if at a track like Bristol Motor Speedway. They're just in lockstep. Kerfman on that high side, Kemp loving that low side all day long, but can never quite clear against that number 30 truck. Now down to 11 laps to go. David Durand has entered this fight actually as well, as Amita Wall's so slow now. Tried it out of the way of these trucks. Maybe he's going to try and pull it down to pit lane here. As actually he's picked up a meatball for something. I'll have a look back at that if we get chance. But David Durand, I clicked the wrong button, David Durand going to the inside of William Kemp, forcing the 09 to the high side. This would be a fantastic result for the number 24. Not in the playoffs, hasn't really been able to pull that much out this season. But what a performance this would be to stamp the authority on some of these higher runners. Walls is down on pit lane now with just 9 laps to go. Gap at the front is 3.6 seconds. And as the 46 at Thornton goes 1 lap down as well, it's nice and out of the way low. Ranger try and build that run, a little bit of a wall tap for William Kemp could open the door. But I think he's trying to look to get that move done on Kerf and take one final attempt for 2nd place. He goes back to the low side. It's where he's been farming all night long. But can't quite get alongside and stay alongside on the edge of the corner. Have to slot back in. This could open the door for David Durand, who goes low once again. William Kemp defends on the high side. And Tristan Maher from across the line take 4 laps to go. Needs these drivers behind to stay clean for just another 45 seconds. following this battle because it is absolutely where all the action is likely to happen in the remaining laps of this race. Mika Walls back out of the pit lane, trying to hold on to P9 here, taking every spot possible. Just running down there on the apron. That's Rivers Jones going a lap down from these drivers now. Tristan Mad, 2 laps to go at the flag stand. Kerfen, Kempf, Durand, all fighting each other. They are going to stay clean as Tristan Maher takes the white flag in this race. We are official. We are going to the checkered flag and pitting for a set of tyres with 45 laps to go. Tristan Maher slices through the field and with a 5.5 second margin wins at Bristol Motor Speedway to open the playoffs. Alex Kerfen will come home second ahead of William Kempf, and a fantastic run from David Durand. Cameron Caldwell, Justin Durand will be your final lead lap finishers. And then it's Rivers Jones, Stephen Thornton, Mika Walls and Michael Kruder, the rest of your top 10. Congratulations being given to the number 17. Contact on pit road. Who knows if that's beef or whether that's just being glad the race is over. But importantly, Tristan Maher, the opportunity to burn it down here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The winner for the first race of the playoffs. And that ends the burnouts for the number 17, who will try and roll it back to pit lane. Fantastic run from Tristan Maher in that final caution. Move up the field. Start where as low as 12th position. Honestly, not too bad for the driver. Started in 7th place and ultimately took home the checkered flag in tonight's action. Let's have a look at our race results while we wait for the replay, wait for our interviews to come through. It will be the number 17, Tristan Maher, winning by 6 seconds over the rest of the field. Alex Kerfen leading the best of the rest home ahead of William Kempf and David Durand Jr. Cameron Caldwell and Justin Durand rounding out your lead lap finishes. Cameron Caldwell, so dominant early on, but couldn't quite keep that long run going towards the end of the race. Rivers Jones and Stephen Thornton will finish 1 lap down, with Mika Walls 11 laps down after late damage in the final quarter of the race. Michael Kruder finishes 16 laps down, rounding out the top 10. Jonathan Jones with an early damage, but persisted through the end of the race, brought home 11th place in the end, ahead of Justin Rohr, Gabe Tazola, Eli Poland, Stephen Maggio, Bailey Thompson, Fidel Fabian, and Jamie Wright. A litany of retirements in tonight's race. And I'm not sure how many happy drivers we might have tonight, but I'll tell you, one driver who is going to be fairly happy with how that could have gone. William Kemp, third place for you in tonight's race. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. I don't know how I even turned that around after getting caused in that one incident around lap 50-ish. I kind of thought I was done, honestly, because the truck was kind of wrecked for a little bit. It was wanting to spin out every turn, but got the damage fixed and was able to stay out of everyone's trouble after that in a chaotic race and somehow managed to get out of the top 3 still. I'll take it.
I mean, just talk us through what the tempers were like out on the racetrack there, because we had a big number of cautions in tonight's race. I've got to imagine that it was pretty chippy over the radio, but how do you keep your cool in a situation like that to bring it home in such a strong position, especially with those fights at the end of the race?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to say the least. A little disappointed, to be honest with you, about overall with the way everyone was running tonight. If only 18 cars out there, we should not have had the issues and the cautions that we did. But it is what it is. We'll move forward. Hopefully, we can get this stuff cleaned up, and it's not like that next time. But the other part to your question, I don't know. I just try to give as much space as I can. If someone's faster than me, I'll just let them go most of the time. Try not to fight them too hard because I don't want to end up wrecked or anything. Just it's what you got to do to make it to the end of these things. Give and take.
Because every position mattering so much more as we get into the playoffs. A great run for you to start your campaign. Talk us through what confidence that gives you and how you're going to now approach the races going into Charlotte next week.
A lot. This was also one of my stronger tracks, so I did expect to finish well tonight. Charlotte, the mile and a half are just so-so. I think those are more based off of luck. Just got to finish through Charlotte and Talladega. Get 2 more decent finishes, and I think I got a shot making it to the next round.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. Of course, before I let you go, any shout-out sponsors, fans, congratulations.
Thank you.
And as we move along from William Kemp there, we are going to move to the truck that finished just a few feet ahead. Ultimately, Alex Kerfen, second place in tonight's race, up from a 15th place starting position, so taking advantage of some of the carnage that was out there on track tonight. Talk us through how it was out there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have a second place on my cards, and I've never felt like my race pace was as bad as it has been today at Bristol. I don't know what was the matter. I qualified bad. I didn't even mess up on my lap. I just qualified bad, and the race pace just didn't feel like it was there the entire night. But like you said, I took advantage of the carnage and was able to keep all 4 tires under me the entire race, and no damage at all. I was surprised, and
no.
Yeah, it pays off for the second place finish. Yeah, no damage.
13 cautions, and you picked up 2 incident points and no damage. I mean, congratulations. That is an achievement in and of itself. But, of course, taking advantage of those bad races and maximizing them is how a championship campaign is made. Next week, it's out at Charlotte. Talk us through your plan for that one and how you hope to continue that momentum going forward.
Yeah, Charlotte's classically a good track for me, and I definitely feel like I've something left to prove, something I left out on the table last season, and I feel like Charlotte's definitely another track that's going to pave my path towards that championship 4. I've got 2 wins there already, and arguably, I think I should have 3 or 4 wins there if luck went my way in a couple more races. But yeah, I'm expecting nothing less than a top 5, top 3 at Charlotte.
Well, I hope to see that. That would be a great way to put 1 foot inside the championship 4 before you go. Got to give you the floor to let you shout at anyone that you'd like to say thank you to at home, the floor is yours. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's always cool that my friends and family like watching this. I like to thank them every time. Like to thank my team for always racing me good. I won't make any more comments after that. But I'd like to thank all my sponsors: Kerfans Market, C2 Graphics, Grid Network, Corewell Health. Thank anyone else that I forgot. You know who you are, and yeah, I'm glad with my finish. I didn't have a P2 on the cards.
Well, it's what you take away. Once again, congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you.
And with one more driver to talk to, the happiest man in town by a long shot, let's talk to Tristan Maher. First win on the season, and it comes at the most important time of all. What does that mean to you?
I would love to do this interview and say that it feels really good. But I don't feel like this is one to be proud of. I think that I was running up front and I was decently quick. I had a little bit of pace, and I think things could have gone my way no matter what. But I just have a hard time coming to terms with all the stuff that went on the night, I guess, in the race. And it doesn't feel like much of a victory when there's only like 7 trucks on the track or something like that. So I'm glad to have won. It comes at a good time. I've had many chances this season where a late yellow comes out or whatever and takes the win away, or I get beat on strategy. Like where was it? New Hampshire was one of them. Alex and Micah took the tires and won at the end, because they're better than me. And then there's just been a couple times, late race cautions and stuff. So it didn't happen this time. There wasn't on the hill, but it is what it is. I won. Good for me, but I'm not a selfish person. I wish that everybody could get along,
Yeah, I definitely can feel that it was a tricky race from start to finish there. Of course, I think what everyone want to do maybe is to put this one behind them and move on towards next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And for you, this puts you in a very strong position compared to where you were coming into this race. You didn't have any bonus points coming into the playoffs. You now sit third in the standings, 5 points above the cut line. How do you now approach the races knowing that you have that strong result to really hand your hat on and to move you forward in the playoffs?
Well, I think that I think that I'm going to approach the races the same way. I'm going to try and have pace, try and have pace and try and win races. Now it could affect certain decisions that I have ahead of me, like running at Talladega or something like that. Like I might not hang out in the front of the pack at Dega, or I don't know when Dega is. Isn't it soon?
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think I might not chill out in the front of the pack for the whole race. I probably won't bother with like stage stuff. I don't know, maybe I might have to. I'm not super good on the books with the numbers and stuff, but depending on how next week goes, I'm gonna approach it the same way. I'm gonna go try to win the race and race everybody cleanly, and that's what it is. That's my MO. If I ruin someone's race, I feel bad about it, and if someone ruins my race, I'm mad about it. But that's racing, and we all do this for fun. We should all put this behind us and have a good race next week. Yeah.
I can agree with that 1000%. Of course, before you go, anyone you do want to shout out, say thank you to, the floor is yours. Got a lot of love in the chat after this one, so congratulations on your first win of the season.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta shout out you up in the booth. You do a excellent job, and I love going back to watch it. Everybody in the league, whether they get along or whatever, the league is here because of all the people and the people that race and the drivers and you guys in the broadcast booth, everybody, sponsors, whatever. I like doing this, and it's not just because of the racing aspect. It's because I get to hang out with these guys and we all talk and sometimes have a good time. So shout out to everybody.
Well, thank you, and good luck next week at Charlotte.
Thank you very much.
And with that, the first round of the playoffs comes to a close. Again, a very dramatic, very a very controversial race, I think it's fair to say, for some of these drivers. We do, of course, move on. The truck keeps on rolling. Next time out, 200 miles of Charlotte Motor Speedway should be a great palate cleanser for these drivers to show their intermediate skills around the rest of the league. But, of course, the idea of one final congratulations before we head out of tonight's race is, of course, Tristan Maher taking advantage of the chaos to make a fantastic strategy win, gapping the field by 6 seconds by the checkered flag Alex Kerfen, William Kempf, David Durand, and Cameron Caldwell, the rest of your top 5. Next time out, it's Charlotte Motor Speedway. 3 races left to book a spot in the Championship 4. You'll see it from flag to flag right here once again. I've been Olivia Hayward, bringing you all the action live on JCTV tonight. Say thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.